Morning. I wanted to pop in today with something a little different from my usual movement videos and just chat a little bit about habit change and setting some more supportive goals for ourselves. As we approach this change of seasons, I've been thinking a lot about 3 month goals and how to use those seasonal shifts just as touch points for our wellness goals. You can do this, of course, with any 3 month period, but the seasons just naturally build that in for us. And I really like just trying to stay in sync with what's happening in the seasons. So, we live in a culture that tends to be pretty focused on the big, flashy results, right? Like, I lost 150 pounds in 6 months, or transform your metabolism with this one hack. But in reality, true sustainable habit change isn't usually that flashy. And when we shoot for those all or nothing results, we often wind up disappointed because we're trying to get from 0 to 100 without any roadmap along the way. I've been there. Likely you have too. So humor me and let's just try something a little bit different. I'm going to walk you through a simple cycle on building one new habit for the next 3 months. I know there's likely a lot that you want to focus on, but let's focus on one for the sake of this. And you can pause the video or come back to it as you want to think about the questions or the process, so you can just keep coming back to it. I want you to think about just one aspect of your health and wellness that you'd like to change over the next 3 months, right? So maybe you're going season to season, we're coming into fall, so fall to the winter equinox. I'm going to choose sleep just so we can focus on that for the sake of this exercise for this process. So often when we start these goals and new wellness habits we want to begin, we say something like, I want to eat better, sleep better. I'm going to exercise more by X date, right? So my 3 month cycle. But it doesn't really give us any solid plan for what to do, how to get there, or really any measure of what better looks like. So to start with, what's the one thing, like what would be most helpful for you to focus on right now? And then let's take that and make it more concrete, right? So mine is I want to sleep better. So instead of just saying that, right, what does better look like? In the next 3 months, I'm going to say by the end of the 3 months, I'm going to be going to bed at 9:30 so I can sleep longer and get better quality sleep, right? Because we sleep better before midnight. So if you took that, right, for whatever yours is, and broke it down into one smaller concrete goal by the end, what would that be? Right, so that then gives us the framework. But sometimes even that 3 month goal can feel overwhelming, right? If I'm going to bed right now at 11 o'clock, starting to go to bed tomorrow at 9:30 sounds a little like, how am I going to do that? So we know where the starting point is, where we are now. We know where the end point is. We don't have to do all of that at once, right? That sometimes is our falling point. We try and do everything right away. What if we just took baby steps instead? So here's my example. What if for the next 2 weeks, I just focused on going to bed 15 minutes earlier than my current bedtime? Okay, that feels more doable. And I'm likely setting myself up for success because 15 minutes is a little easier than trying to shift that whole bedtime by an hour and a half, 2 hours even. Okay, so then what would your one small realistic step be to take in the next week or two, right? To break that down into a baby step, right? Because then we're just going to build on there. One other piece that's helpful, how will I remember? Right? When I'm on the couch and we're deep in a good book or Netflix or watching a movie, right? Time slips away. So I might do something like, I'm going to set myself an alarm, right? That'll give me the little nudge that I need at the end of the day to start moving in that direction. If I live with someone, I might also tell them, because that extra layer of accountability can be really helpful for us. Right, so we're just setting up the environment. What are the ways that you're going to support that one small, right, first maybe week to 2 week goal? Last, set yourself a reminder to check back in 2 weeks. What went well with the goal? It it likely wasn't perfect, but where was there progress? And then reassess. How can you build on that next week to 2 week cycle from there? So it comes in these tiny little chunks that feel manageable. Okay. See the process? We're taking the big, we're funneling it down. We're doing something that feels like in 3 months I've made progress, and giving myself baby steps along the way. You can think about that like the Cliff Notes version. There's lots of other ways to dive into it, but if you're just starting to think of those goals and ways to change your approach to wellness goals, I hope that was helpful. I'd love to hear how it goes or questions that you have, so feel free to leave me a comment, reach out. It's always wonderful to hear from you.